Alright guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today. For this one we are going to do another sort of out and about video for you. So today I'm in the Diamond Hill area of Kowloon in Hong Kong and we're going to visit this place behind me. This is Deadman Brewery. So these guys are a very interesting brewery, very well-rounded selection of different beers. And yeah, every couple of months they open up their brewery for a beer and tacos night. So we're here on the 17th of May 2024 and we're going to go in, enjoy some food, try all the beers, and I think you'll have some people from the brewery joining us on some of these tasting videos. So let's get started on this one. I'll show you guys how to actually get into this place a little bit later on in the video as well, but wanted to get here early and get filming while it's quiet. Catch you guys in a second. Alright guys, so I got here a little bit before the opening time and I've been given permission to walk around actually. So yeah, we have to open the fancy door with the thing, but yeah, this is quite an impressive space actually. This is one of your kind of typical Hong Kong industrial units. But yeah, the tap room and things is kind of just down here, but you can see they've got all their cans and bottles and things like that here, some kegs and stuff too, and yeah, these things. So when you come in you're greeted by a hell of a lot of Deadman memorabilia and things. We'll take a little bit of a closer look at these a wee bit later on. We'll film other little segments, but yeah, you can see this is the main tap room here. So yeah, pretty nice. This is where we're going to get all the tacos and stuff later. And yeah, the brewery is through there. So yeah, you've got a nice pool table and things here as well. And then yeah, you have the bar. I love these. I love this thing. I need to get one of these at some stage. But yeah, I love the tap handles as well. But yeah, whole host of things there. It's a lovely bar actually. But yeah, I can make some jokes about the cushions and my political thoughts, but that's another thing. But yeah, you can see here there's a big construction site just across the road, so we came out on this street as well. But yeah, that's a nice little walk around of the Deadman foyer and things like that. So I think it's about time that we get a beer, sit down and start filming. Let's do it. Alright guys, so very good service here at Deadman, I have to say. Pretty much as soon as I come in, I'm greeted by Ash, who is known around Hong Kong as Deadman Ash. So yeah, you do the sales and marketing and everything?
Yes, yeah, I take care of the sales and marketing.
For Deadman Brewery. So yeah, Ash is the guy who is the one who kind of puts this brewery out there a little bit. So yeah, we're going to taste his favourite beer from Deadman at the moment. So do you want to introduce it then, since it's your favourite?
Yes. This is a very simple Bohemian Pilsner. We call it the 5,000 years. It's a very simple Pilsner. We're just going very close to the Czech style Pilsner. You know, like this is basically inspired Jason after he started drinking the Okia.
Oh yeah.
So we try to actually, you know, perfect it. It's taken us a couple of brews to get it to this level, and yeah, it's very enjoyable. You know.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I've heard very good things about this. I actually haven't tasted this one, and I did that purposely for coming here.
Awesome.
So yeah, that was the thing. I wanted to try this one at source. But yeah, as you can see, guys, this one pours like lovely kind of pale golden straw colour. When we got it straight out, lovely big fresh white head on this one. It's pretty much as you would expect from the Pilsner. So yeah, should we take a wee look at the aroma?
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's lovely. I mean, what I look for in these beers is authenticity. And this one gives you, you've got the bread crust in there, like a little bit of cracker, white bread, wee bit of brown bread, a little bit of like, sweet biscuit as well, I would
Exactly,
say.
yes,
yeah. I'm curious as well because for me, like if I think about the German and Czech ones, the Czech ones are a bit more spicy in their notes,
Exactly,
whereas
yeah.
this is quite bright and smooth. Like if I was smelling this blind, I would maybe guess German because it's got that nice big bright grassiness actually. So yeah, fruitiness, yeah, like apricot, oily pear, a little bit of like fresh green apple and things like that. Everything you'd expect from the style, and it does come across really authentically European. So
Yeah, we
lovely
call it
aroma.
the Bohemian Pilsner.
Yeah,
Call it the 5,000 years, and yeah.
there we go. Just land it. There we go. Cheers. That's dangerously easy to drink.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So, what would your flavour description of this one be?
Pretty much the same what you just said. You know, it's it gives us a nice hoppy flavor with the sour hops in it, and yeah, it's such an easy beer to drink. You know, I mean, this would be my go-to beer anytime I come into the brewery.
Oh yeah.
I start with this and I end with this. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this is something I always do on the channel is that if breweries do pilsners and things, I always moan if they're sold in 330 cans. They should be in 440s or half
I know,
liters.
yeah.
But that's the thing.
something we.
It's always something.
But we have it on the tap today.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's on the tap, so we don't need to worry
yeah,
about
yeah.
that so much. But I will say, like, compared to what we got in the aroma, you do get more of that, like, Czech, Žatec, Zats,
Exactly.
spiciness
Yes.
out of it. It comes across more German in its aroma, but it's certainly
On the
more...
taste-wise, it comes more Czech.
Yeah, it's more Czech. I'd say maybe it's got the cleanliness of the German pilsners rather than the kind of smooth creaminess, but it has the hoppy character. Yes,
Right.
is definitely Czech for sure.
And another good part about this is I love the lacing on the glass as well. You know, it just stays for a bit, so you know, it looks quite nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what you want from it. But yeah, I mean, for me, backbone of the beer, this one, like fresh, sort of hedgehog white bready bread
Right.
crust. A wee bit further forward on the palate, you get like this little bit of woodiness, like cream cracker,
Yeah,
Jacob's
yeah.
cream cracker all the way, and like a kind of very crisp white bread in there, and at the back of that, the palate, I'd say that's when you get the kind of dry, crisp pilsner malt
yeah,
notes.
yeah.
And then in the centre of your palate, into the aftertaste, there's a wee bit of that McVitie's digestive biscuity sort of thing, which is really nice. And yeah, I think it gets it's the breadiness. This is certainly one of the more bready, crisp, dry pilsners, I think,
Exactly.
that I've come across. The yeasty side of the beer on the back third of the palate, it's a little bit more like dense, sweeter white bread, I would say. Like you feel that on the back third of your palate, and definitely back third of your palate flavours taller. As you come further forward into the middle, it just kind of squashes down a wee bit. But yeah, the malty side of this one is really nicely done actually, and it's quite difficult to get that right with the.
It was actually, you know, it took us a while to actually get to this color, as well as you know the finish. But yeah,
Do you know how many days this one is matured for? How long does it go undergo the fermentation?
18 days.
18. Oh, that's pretty impressive actually. Because usually I think to get this level of kind of crispness and things, it's normally like quite a lot of European breweries are putting them in for like 30 to 40 days.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
You know, for us, you know, because our tanks are a little smaller compared to you know the big breweries. So
Oh, yeah.
that's one of the reasons why we just try as soon as we feel that the beer is ready. You know, we just take it.
yeah, that's really interesting actually. It's so nice. I mean, the hoppy side of this beer is kind of what you'd expect as well. A bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate. As you come further forward, it's a little bit herbal, and then you get that nice big floral aromatic spice right on the front corners of your palate, and then the zesty kind of grassy character around the front curve of the tongue too. But yeah,
And
nice.
the best part is, you know, the taste of the pill, you know, the whole beer lasts a bit longer on your palate. Right?
I'd say as well, I think this one, it sweetens up a little bit the more you drink of it as well. You start to get more of that kind of biscuity sweetness out of this one. And I mean, what percentage is this?
5.2.
5.2, yeah. So yeah, it's got another near enough 1% on it than Urkel, actually,
Right.
and that makes sense
Right.
that you get a bit more sweetness out of it because of that, you know, the booziness. But yeah, it's a really nice one to drink. On the front third of your palate, yeah, you're getting that nice oily, fruity bubble. I think, like we said before, like a little bit of sultana, oily pear maybe. A little bit of fresh green apple maybe, but yeah, oily pear sultana, little touch of apricot. Yeah, it's really nice. This one, so easy to drink, and like Ash says, this is
It's my personal favorite. It's Jason Head Brewer's personal favorite.
Yeah.
So we try and keep it in the tank as long as we can, so that we can just drink it straight from the tank. It's even better.
Oh yeah.
When you drink it, but
Have you done an unfiltered version of it as well?
all these are unfiltered.
Oh, this is
Yes,
unfiltered.
Yeah, these are unfiltered.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I have to say that's interesting. Yeah, because it looks. I mean, it
Yeah,
really
it looks.
does.
Yeah, the color is
looks very,
clear.
very-
Clear. Yeah.
Looks as if it is filtered, this one, but yeah, this is really impressive pilsner. So I have to say, this one, and it's quite good to be in Hong Kong actually, because you've got the HK Lovecraft Hellas, and then you've got this, so you've got two very good
Nice ones.
long
Yeah,
lagers
yeah.
that you can have as go-tos pretty much. I think just to round off then this taste, and I'd say mouthfeel wise, light-bodied, quite really quite crisp. This one, as I say, it's one of the drier pilsners I think I've come across in recent times, and that's a wee bit unusual I'd say in Asia, because a lot of the lagers tend to just be that little bit wetter and more
Yes.
oily.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. True.
but in
Get
fairness,
that, like an S3 kind of
Yeah.
feeling.
yeah, no, it's interesting in that sense too, because I think the HK Lovecraft as well. They do that. They take the proper approach of having.
Oh yeah,
slight
they make a
dryness
good
and
Hellas.
things.
Yeah,
They-
the Hellas is
They
quite
really
good.
do, yeah. So I'm quite pleased with that actually. I've got two go-to lagers in Hong Kong. So I think the IBUs taste like it's about 30-35, something like that. In terms of its IBU, this is my weakest point of beer
Right,
reviewing.
right.
Am I right on that, or?
I think you are.
I think I'm. Okay.
more or less, yeah.
It feels about standard. That's 30 IBUs as Pilsner Urquell standard, and it feels about that. Malt base has a bit of dryness underneath, the smoothness in the middle, and a bit of crispness on the back end, but sweeter the more you drink of the beer, and you've got a lovely little bit of oily, fruity character as well. So very happy with this one. Very good place to start.
Glad you liked it.
Very good place to start.
I wish more of the tap rooms out here start to get this on their taps.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is by far one of my, it's a good pilsner here.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't knock this one at all. I mean, what sort of percentage of this is canned and what percentage of it is put into
It all depends on, what we do is we speak to most of our customers, like the restaurants and bars.
Yeah.
And since our tanks are small, so we make sure that we have enough number of cans as well as kegs.
Oh yeah.
So, and we don't want to actually just keg the whole tank or can the whole tank, so we just split it up depending on how many orders we have. And plus we keep some buffer kegs for the brewery as well.
Ah, okay.
So
Makes sense. It does make sense. Yeah.
the point is to maintain the freshness, and we want people to drink fresh beer.
Exactly.
That's the whole idea.
That's it. That's it. It's always the thing when you export the darker stuff first, and then once you get the chains up and running, then you do the
Right.
lighter stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. But thank you to Ash for joining on this one. Maybe you'll see
Pleasure,
him.
thanks.
Maybe you'll see him in another tasting later. We'll see if we can
for
convince
sure,
you. This was the 5,000 years Pilsner. Nearly knocked the camera off the table there. But 5,000 years Pilsner. I'll just let the camera focus on that a little bit. Maybe it's not going to do it. But this should be nice. We'll need to do a review of the can at some point soon as well. But lovely Pilsner beer, this one. Let's see what the rest of the night has in store for us. We're certainly going to do a taco review as well, because I'm very curious about this. But if you see Ash around, which you probably will, chat to him.
Most of the time on a Friday,
Yeah,
feel free.
that's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But let's pause this one, guys, and we'll see what else the night has in store for us. Slanja. Cheers.
Cheers.
So guys, as I said, they've got a whole bunch of Deadman kind of memorabilia and beers available for you here. So you can see some of the cans. The 7 Seas Sour IPA, the Oktoberfest Märzen Kokomo Chocolate Porter, the Hang 5 Session IPA, Nelson's Day Off, Bee's Knees Honey Ale, See What Happens, the Dry Hop New Zealand Pilsner. That sounds very nice actually. Wowza, which is the Leipzig style Goza. A few other things, Dark Side of the Moon, Smashing Grapes, what's that one, Frank and Stein as well. a few other things. But yeah, you can see they've got a bunch of their trophies and stuff here. This is quite a nice little bit here too. You can see loads and loads of the different cans. But yeah, there's all the different editions of Holy Moly Imperial Stout, which you'll be seeing appearing on the channel at some point fairly soon, I'm sure. But yeah, a few more beers over here. Mirror Mirror American Pale Ale, Dirty Pale Ale as well, it's quite nice. Crazy Rabbits Espresso Stout, I've seen that one around. The 5,000 Years Pilsner, Party Duck Dry Hop Cider, Hard Day's Work Kulsch, the Hop Robber Double IP, I've heard this one's really nice. Son of the Beach, which is their smoothie sour. They've got the nice kind of glass set and things up here as well as some other artwork. And if we come just over here, you can see they've got a bunch of their glassware and things like that as well, and some caps and things like that too. So yeah, a few more medals that they've won at the Asia Brewers Network and stuff like this. But yeah, that's a little look at the merchandise wall here at Deadman Brewing in Diamond Hill. So there you go. Alright guys, well, time for tasting number 2 then here at Deadman Brewing. So yeah, the second beer that we're going to have a little look at is something that's a little bit more exclusive, I guess we could say. So yeah, this is a little small batch that is only released at the brewery apparently, so I think it should be quite interesting. The beer doesn't even have a name. It's a 5% Session IPA, Session Hazy Pale, as Ash was calling it. When it poured, it had about a finger of a frothy, I would say kind of cream coloured head. That's faded away to be a very sort of thin foamy layer. And you can see that it has this lovely sort of rich kind of mango juice type colour, but more like a natural haze to it, this one, rather than being fully rather than being fully like opaque as a New England hazy would be. So yeah, it looks pretty nice, this one. Looks a bit more like a West Coast Pale Ale, in all honesty. But let's have a little look at the nose and see what we get out of this one. I'm quite curious about it. So, yeah, aroma-wise, it kind of gives you everything that you would expect. It has a little bit of a kind of citricy sharpness to it when you first take it in. So yeah, a little bit of a lemon limey type character. Yeah, but otherwise, it gives you a little bit, it does give you more of that kind of American pale ale vibe. So as I said on the channel many times before, you have West Coast IPAs and pale ales and stuff like this, which use mainly barley malt and they're always a little bit more bitter and things. And you have New England IPAs which use wheat oats and barley malt, and they're always softer in their bitterness and a little bit more creamy. This beer seems more like one of these things that's a bit more in the middle. I think that's definitely fair to say. So, yeah, that's really interesting with this one, I would say. Yeah, the backbone of this beer then, you've got some lovely, fresh, white bready bread crust in there. On top of that, you know, underneath that you get a little bit of woodiness, there's a little bit of cracker, some sweet brown bread, a little bit of white bread as well. Yeah, sweet brown bread, a little bit of white bread. You can certainly smell the wheat in the back of the nose. The wheat has a little bit of bitiness as well. Yeah, so definitely a little bit of bitiness to this one. You can smell that more dense white bready character out of it too. Yeah, the way everything pieces together in this beer, I think, is really interesting. There's a little bit of oaty creaminess, but not too much. I'd say this is more a barley malt and wheaty leaning pale ale. There's a little bit of like Werther's original butter candy butterscotch for sure. And yeah, the aroma that comes out of this on the malty side of things is quite impressive. So,
my turn, yeah?
Yeah, it's quite.
All right.
I think this is going to be quite interesting when we taste it. So, on the on the green side of the hops, I would say there's a little touch of earthiness in there. You've got a lovely, bright floral aromaticity to this one.
You know, I've been practicing lately, and I know the strategy.
So yeah, I love a little bit of that bright floral aromaticity. It has a little touch of like piney resin underneath, which makes me think maybe early edition hopping, where you get those deeper, danker notes. But yeah, on the fruity side of things, as I say, it's quite interesting because yeah, you get a little bit of this like really sharp peachy note out of this one. So yeah, a little bit of sharper peach, juicy mango, apricot, pineapple for sure. But then there's also a mix of orange and like limey character for me as well. So aroma-wise, this beer I think is really, really quite interesting. So yeah, as I always say, take a little bit of time to enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But I think we should try this one. So yeah, this is the Hazy Pale, an experimental beer only available here at Deadman Brewery in Diamond Hill in Hong Kong. So stuck in. Slanger, Skull, cheers.
I have 4 cards left, 4 train cards left.
That's quite interesting, I have to say that. In terms of it being a hazy pale, it's actually very, very clean.
Why? No,
It's 5% ABV incidentally.
Locomotives.
Not sure if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very clean beer this one. Drinks more like a kind of West Coast pale ale rather than a New England pale
Did I
ale.
build something last
But
time? I built 2.
yeah, the way it goes together I think is it's pretty nice. So let's break it down and describe it more in depth. The backbone of the beer,
That's the first one you got, special.
This is the one that
the backbone of the beer, fresh white ready bread crust, a little bit of wood, a little bit of Jacob's cream cracker. Yeah, a little bit of wood, a little bit of Jacob's cream cracker.
Oh, so this is my last turn.
On top of that, a little bit of brown bread, white bread. You can feel the wheat in this one as well, that more dense white bready wheaty character. A little bit of wheaty bitiness the further back on the palate you go.
You can still use this. Well, I got the longest road by far.
So yeah, that little bit of
I
wheaty
have one longest road
bitiness.
except for 2 cars.
And yeah, the wheat smoothens out the further forward the palate you go. There's certainly a little bit of oaty character to this one, which is very, very nice. Yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is pretty damn good.
I definitely have the longest road.
In the centre of the palate, you've got a little bit of a sweet Werther's original butter candy butterscotch, which I do really like. But yeah, I think that we've covered everything about the menu.
I have 43 cars.
So yeah, a little bit of sweet coming in the middle of the palate. In the back third of the palate, you get a little bit of yeastiness, dense white bread, slightly sweet, a little bit of cracker, and definitely you feel the flavour is taller on that back third of the palate. And then as you come further forward to the middle third, your tongue condenses down that little bit. On the hoppy side of things, wee bit of earthiness, little bit of herbal character, a little bit of a more kind of floral aromatic note out of this one.
Palermo to Moscow.
And then yeah, you've got a nice kind of grassy, zesty character too. Let's look at the fruity side of things to round off.
So I'm plus 6 plus 20 minus 6, right? So I'm plus 20. Oh, I forgot to add my 7 for this.
The fruity side of this beer is quite interesting. It's quite similar to the aroma. There's a little bit of there's a little bit of peachy sharpness at the back of that front third of your palate, some passion fruit, juicy ripe mangoes, maybe a little touch of guava as well, a wee bit of apricot, a little bit of a little bit of like pineapple pineapple almost on top, and then I'm getting quite a lot of like
Yeah.
limey character out of this one, but also a wee bit of a zesty tangerine orange, which is quite interesting. So yeah, the way that this beer kind of pieces together and goes about its business, I think, is really interesting. A bit more of a lemony, zesty leaning pale ale, which I think, you know, with the pale ale as a style, you need that. You need a little bit more punchiness to it, and this beer delivers in that. But yeah, more of an American pale ale.
I didn't have the longest
More
one yet.
modern American pale ale rather than anything else. So yeah, I like this one. I have to say I do quite like that. Let's round off with the mouthfeel then. So for me,
I think I forgot to move some of my stuff.
this beer, mid-bodied,
No, I made a mistake because I didn't.
carbonation is very, very smooth.
Because I was walking in here, I should have gone here.
Lovely bit of oily, slight mouthfeel to it. IBU, I think, is about 20-30 IBUs. And I think a little bit of dryness in the malt base underneath, smoothness in the middle, wee touch of sweetness, and very slight creaminess on top. We said the hoppy bitterness, and then you've got that wee bit of oily fruit. Quite an interesting beer, this one. It's like, mix of, they said it's a pale ale, this one, but kind of session IPA like. So I like how this beer goes together. Let's leave it at that for this one. I'm not sure what this beer was called. It is a kind of one-off in-house brew, if you like, from what Ash told me. So let's leave it at that for this. We've got one more beer to try on tap, and then we might try something a little bit darker later on. We'll need to see. I'll catch you guys in a second with something else. See you. Alright guys, so this is one of the main things of the night actually. So the food tonight is by Latin Food Group. You've got Mr. Alex behind the taco station. So this is going to be very interesting when this is served. So you have 3 different kinds of main filling. So this one was mushroom, this one was kind of like a pulled pork, and this one up here is like ox tongue beef. And then you've got all your other stuff that you can add on to this. So you've got salsa verde, green salsa, salsa chipotle, if you like something a bit more spicy, pico de gallo, pickled onions, fresh limes, your guacamole, queso fresco, fresh cheese, that'll be right on my one, ají amarillo garlic mayonnaise, that sounds interesting too. Then you've got your onions and coriander. So I think we're going to need to do a taco review a little bit later, but if you come here every 2 months or something, taco night, and it's worth it. Big thumbs up to Alex, cheers. Alright guys, so it's time to try some of the food. So basically, on the right hand side we have a pork taco with salsa verde, some cheese, and this kind of garlic mayo mix, and on the left side we have one with like ox tongue, so this should be quite interesting. We've also got some chips here as well, so really looking forward to this. Let's flip the camera around and have a little look at this. Alright guys, so as I showed you a second ago, it's time to try some of the food. So first off, we'll try some of the chips with this lovely kind of garlic mayo type sauce that we have. This should be cool. Oh yeah. The sauce itself, it's very sweet but quite savoury into the aftertaste. The chips are really interesting. We try this one with just a little bit of sauce. The chips are quite oily but nice and crunchy, which is what you want. It's good. I like that. The garlic in the sauce is at the right level, not too pungent. It's got a lovely sweet cheesy thing to it. I really like this. I mean, it's easily, it's good beer food, you can't really complain. Now we have 2 of the tacos to try. So one with pulled pork, one with beef. So I was advised to try the beef one first because it's not quite as sweet. So we'll do that. We'll see. So this one is a mix of the cheese, the meat, the sauce, and the salsa verde. These were just things that kind of struck my mind. I might try something a bit spicier later, and if we do, we'll review that as well. But the ox tongue is quite nice, I have to say. Yeah, getting some of it on my fingers. There you go. Yeah. Losing a little bit of meat. But in all, it's nice. This mix that I've come up with, very strong flavour. The garlic sauce comes out, it mixes with the cheese. Gives you some impact on the flavour. I really like this. Yeah. Here's the thing, they're obviously serving you in very small portions just to, you know, keep it a constant stream. But the food is really nice. Yeah. I really like this. The beef one is quite mild. I think we'll get more sweetness out of the pulled pork one, but no, pretty good. Let's take a wee chip in between just to clear the palate. Oh. Let's have a wee look at the pulled pork one. So, yeah, well, the salsa verde, the pulled pork, and the cheese, of course. But let's have a little look at this. Look at that. That looks awesome. There you go. So, pulled pork time. Yeah. The pulled pork. Lovely and smooth, but just has that little bit of sweetness to it that you want as well. And the cheese and the sauce that I've put in this. Winning combination in my mind. Now, I will say my palate is a little bit limited. I love garlic, I love very strong cheese, but the tacos are very good. I'm going to eat a hell of a lot from what's available here tonight. The mushroom one I probably won't try. Not the greatest fan of mushrooms, but for me, the pork is the winner, the clear winner out of the beef and the pork actually. So yeah, I think we can leave it at that for our food review, to be honest with you. The tacos are absolutely lovely and they're worth trying. The cheese is nice and strong, the sauce is good, I like it. So yeah, we'll try and do another beer video in a little bit, and we'll try and get a walk around the brewery as well. But I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing on this video so far. Catch you guys in just a second. Cheers. Alright guys, well, third and penultimate beer tasting of the night here at Deadman Brewing. So this is the third of the 3 beers that they have on tap, but we will try something else a little bit later on. But yeah, this beer is quite an interesting one. One of their kind of more flagship styles, I guess you could say. It's called Hang 5, comes in at 6% ABV, and this one is a West Coast IPA. So as you can see, lovely kind of medium amber orange colour. This one, when it poured, it had over a finger of a frothy cream coloured head, but that's faded away to be a thinner kind of more foamy layer now. And yeah, this beer looks pretty much as you would expect of any West Coast IPA. Now at this point I'm about 8 tacos into to proceedings, but enjoying my time and enjoying some nice beer, so that's how it goes. But yeah, in terms of what you'd expect appearance-wise from a West Coast IPA, this one is pretty much on the money. So let's have a little look at the nose and see what this beer has in store for us. Let's do it. Oh yeah, I'm going to say straight away, pretty damn solid. Yeah, for me, it's got everything you'd want. You've got a little bit of bready malt in there, you've got some nice sweetness, good little bit of hoppy character, and also some nice oily fruity notes as well. This is going to be a very nice example of a West Coast IPA. So yeah, the backbone of this beer, on the aroma, you have a nice little bit of like a fresh brown bready bread crust in there, 100%. Little touch of woodiness, little touch of cracker, but yeah, lots of sweet, like wholemeal brown bread. Bit of white bready character in there as well. Yeah. Brown bread, white bread, toasty caramel in there, a little bit of a more oily caramelly note as well. Quite a little bit of McVitie's digestive biscuity character too. Now, on the hoppy side of things, for me, the green component on this one is not overly pungent because it's, it's quite, it's just got a nice kind of oiliness and brightness to it. So you get a little touch of earthiness out of this beer. There's a little bit of an almost kind of pine raisiny note to it as well. So yeah, a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of herbal character, nice bit of pine resin, some nice bright oily floral aromaticity, and then yeah, you've got some nice grassy zestiness coming out of this beer as well. So yeah, I really like how this pieces together. Yeah. The way everything pieces together in this one, I think, is really, really nice. So yeah, a little bit of floral aromaticity, oily, bright grassiness, very, very positive things. Let's look at the fruity side of the aroma. So, for me, you've got a lot of nice kind of oily passion fruit in this one. A little touch of sharper peach, mango for sure, apricot, pineapple, kind of strong tropical note. But I'm also getting a little bit of an almost like strawberry note. Enigma is a hop that I'd be very curious to say about this one because there's a wee bit of gooseberry and there's also this little bit of like cranberry, redberry sort of thing. So tempted to say there could be a little bit of enigma in this one. Nice little bit of orangey note to it as well. Sabro or mosaic in this, I think. But yeah, all in all, pardon me, the fruity character in this beer is very, very interesting. So yeah, very interesting stuff, I have to say. Yeah, smells like a nice oily, sweet and smooth West Coast IPA. As I always say, take a little bit of time to have a look at the aroma of this beer before you take it in. But yeah, let's taste this one and see what it's all about. This is the Hang 5, 6% West Coast IPA from Deadman Brewery here in Hong Kong. Slange, Skull, cheers. Oh yeah, that's pretty damn good, I have to say. First impression is that it's not the most bitter and pungent of West Coast IPAs, but it certainly is pretty damn good actually. All in all, I think this is pretty damn good actually. So let's break it down, pardon me, and describe the flavour of this one a little bit more in depth. So, middle third of your palate, lovely kind of fresh brown bready bread crust in there. Further forward, you've got a little bit of woody character. Wholemeal brown bread. Yeah, wholemeal brown bread, Jacob's cream cracker, and a little bit of white bread for sure. Yeah, some nice wholemeal brown bread, white bread above that. Then you start to get the brown sugary parts out of this beer. So for me, it's got, it has some really nice toasty brown sugar in the base. Above that, you've got a little bit more of a sweeter, oilier caramel. Yeah, oily, sweeter caramel above that. little bit of McVitie's digestive biscuit, and yeah, the way that all of it just kind of pieces together, I think, is really, really nice. So yeah, the way everything goes together, I think, is really, really nice in this one, in terms of the malt base. Yeah. On the back third of your palate, you're getting similar flavours, maybe a little bit of a brown bready yeasty note at the top of the nose, but yeah. On the hoppy side of things, the more that you drink of this beer, the more bitter it gets. In the back corner of the palate, you've got some nice earthiness in there. As you move further forward, it's a little touch herbal, and as you move further forward toward the front corners of your tongue, really nice kind of spicy floral aromaticity in this one. So yeah, really good. Round the front curve of the tongue, you've got a nice little bit of grassiness in there, which I think is great. Quite zesty as well, I would add. But yeah, interesting. Interesting mix of things going on in this beer, but quite oily and bitter the further into the aftertaste we go. So proper old school West Coast IPA for me. Let's focus on the fruity side of things then. So, fruity side of the beer. Yeah. For me, at the back, if you go to that front third of your palate, you get that nice oily bubble where the fruity juicy esters roll away into the beer. So for me, the fruity side of the beer, certainly some stronger grapefruit in there. You do have some nice peachy notes as well. As you move further forward, maybe a little bit of mango, a little bit of apricot and oily pear in the middle of that front third of your palate. Then yeah, as you move into the front half of the front third of your tongue, it's more about like a really zesty, lemony and limey type quality. There's maybe a wee bit of kind of orangey mandarin or something in there too. So yeah, the way all of that pieces together, I think is quite interesting. But a proper old school West Coast IPA this one. I think we need to get a can of this and actually do a proper sit down review for you on the channel at a later date. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah, so to round off our penultimate tasting then, for me, this beer, mid-bodied, smooth carbonation, a little bit light, little bit oily, yeah, quite light, quite oily, and I would say, you know, 80 IBUs, something like that, malt base, a little bit of a bready character underneath, smoothness in the middle, sweet oiliness in there as well, and then you have some really nice kind of oily, fruity characters there, quite citrusy leaning the more that you drink of it. But all in all, really, really nice West Coast IPA, and this is one that I need to revisit with a kind of deeper tasting, if you like, later on. So yeah, this was the Hang 5 6% West Coast IPA. That's our third and penultimate tasting beer at Deadman Brewery in May 2024. Catch you guys in a second with something else. Cheers.
Alright guys, so Ash was very kind and told me I could come into the brewery and have a walk around. He's sitting prepping something over there. But yeah, we got a nice little brewery tour as part of this taco night. So you can see here, they've got a bunch of sort of 550, 600 litre fermentation tanks. I think it's 12 in total that they have, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, if you walk up here, you can see they've got the brew kit here, which is again about 600 litres. It's Chinese made equipment that they have here, but yeah, this just gives you a little idea of the scale of this brewery. So yeah, brew kit over there, the 12 fermenters there, there's number 12 right in front of me. You've got the sterilisation stuff right here. And then if you come over to this side of the brewery, apparently a little while ago, the brewery of course was only founded back in 2019 or so, this whole area used to be taken up with bottling, but they've now got a very small bottling line which is just used for a couple of releases such as the Holy Moly Imperial Stout that they do every year. But they've got their kegs here, they've got a mix of 20, 30 and 50 litres. Then they've got their canning line, and of course canning lines are very expensive commodities for breweries. But yeah, this is pretty cool, and apparently this is the latest new toy that they've got with laser measurement and things like that. But yeah, they're basically a 5-hec brewery, 500 litre batches from what Ash told me. They've got a bunch of malt and stuff over here. Quite a lot of the malt is coming from Weirmann in Bamberg in Franconia, Bavaria, Germany. But they've got a bunch of Australian malt as well, actually. But yeah, they tend to go with the German malts. But yeah, really interesting setup here. Very, very small, of course, but still, they spent a hell of a lot of money on all of the equipment and things that they have here. From what Ash told me, it's about $2 million US that went into this brewery in terms of investment. So really cool. But yeah, that's a little walk around of the Deadman Brewery production area for you. So there you go. Let's leave it at that for the moment and get back to it. Alright guys, well, time for our fourth and final tasting then here at Deadman Brewing for the night. It's been a really nice night. I'm full as hell with all the tacos, full as hell with a lot of Pilsner that I drank, and obviously we've tried a few other things along the way, but as is tradition with Rampant Lion Reviews, we finish on something a bit darker. So Ash very kindly got us a can of the Espresso Stout. So this one is called Crazy Rabbits, 5.2% ABV, and yeah, I think this should be quite a nice one to
It's a medium body espresso stout.
Yeah,
Easy.
I don't know, it's just become a bit of a tradition on the channel that we finish on something
Dark.
a little bit dark, you know, you always work your way from lager to
That's the
IPA
name of our
to stout.
company. Our registered company is called Darkside Enterprise.
Oh, okay,
So
fair
we
enough.
always-
Well, we'll pour your one first. So Dark Sider Enterprise. I like that. I do like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's yours.
Alright. Go.
Yeah, that's good.
We go. And then there we go. Alright. So yeah. This is poured pretty much as you would expect from the style. Dark ebony rosewood colour. I think we've got about half the can each. Half a finger of a kind of medium tan head, this one. Quite foamy. Looks very pretty, I have to say. Yeah, so what do you think of the aroma of this one then? What would you say?
We use about 6 kilos of coffee beans
Ah, okay.
when we ferment it on the last day, and we just put the coffee beans in the tank, 12 hours, and that's what it infuses.
That's it. Oh,
And
okay.
it's pure roasted espresso beans.
Nice. So I have to admit, that's my first encounter with like the technical side of making a coffee stout. I would have thought you'd put them in from the beginning.
No.
Would that make it just far too
would-
strong?
It would be, yes.
Ah, okay. So the coffee.
We used to actually, the earlier brew used to be a little milder, and then during the COVID, people wanted it a little more stronger. So people were working from home and they wanted a coffee plus a beer.
Right.
So that made sense for us to actually, we just thought, why not we add a little more coffee? So we doubled the quantity from 3 kilos
Okay.
to 6 kilos of coffee beans in the fermenter overnight.
It's interesting, and I will say, guys, it's really interesting because when you smell this beer, it's not exactly frugal or humble on the coffee side of things. It is quite interesting. The coffee's quite pungent within
It is,
that
it
aroma.
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, as I've said on the channel many a time, coffee beans are one of my favourite adjuncts that you can put in beer. It's all about, you've got different types of bean in the first place that can be grown in different parts of the world.
Right.
Different soil profiles, different water profiles, all of these things can
Right.
affect it. But for me, the coffee in this one's quite aromatic. quite fruity as well, and it's a good bit of earthiness to it. I mean, what kind of bean? Where's
It's
the
just
bean?
a roasted espresso coffee bean, you know,
All
just
right.
buy it
Okay.
locally from a brewer.
Okay, interesting. I mean, for me, the aroma, this one's great. You've got roasty, toasty, well-fired bread crust, sweet rye bread, like charred chocolate, the big coffee notes out of it, toasty brown sugar. I'd say like, you know, plums, raisins, things like that.
Raisins, yes,
I'd say
It's
more,
got the
more
plummy,
plummy,
yeah.
raisiny notes. It's one of these ones where you really just want to try it, I would say, but the aroma's very rich, and for a fact, was it only 5%?
5.2.
5.2. I mean, the level of aroma you get out of this for a beer that's only 5.2 is pretty ridiculous. To be quite honest, it's crazy. Yeah, let's just dive into this one. So, what was it called again? Crazy Rabbits.
Yeah.
5.2% ABV. Big thank you to Ash for his hospitality tonight.
man. Pleasure.
And yeah,
Pleasure to have
I'm
you.
sure you'll probably see Ash on the channel at a beer festival or something at some point in the future. So yeah, let's taste this one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Magic. That's a lovely place to kind of round off.
Yeah.
You know, on this video we haven't really gone into the big beast beers that Deadman can do. You know, there's double IPAs, there's the Holy Moly. We haven't done that. We've stayed in the lower
ABV, yeah,
range,
yeah.
pretty much.
We do it when the Pineapple Express comes out.
Oh yeah, we should. But I will say, the thing is, even though the beers are lower in ABV, they're not lacking in terms of flavour. And come to think of it, in terms of Hong Kong, there are a few of these lower ABV stouts. And if I take it from the European perspective, not many people would buy like a low ABV stout.
Alright, yeah.
It's more people want the big beast imperial stouts.
Yeah.
You know, it's not you know, to find these kind of 5% Irish dry stouts and nitro stouts and stuff, you just don't do it. Whereas it seems to be a bit more popular here in Hong Kong, which is interesting. But it goes to show you with things like this, it's not lacking in terms of flavour.
Right.
So, yeah.
And when we started actually introducing this to our clients, what they say is, when we tell them we have a coffee stout, and they say, no, I don't like stout. And then they say, why don't you just give it a try, you know? And once they try it, and they say, oh, can I have a little bit more? So,
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
So-
I can imagine that. Like, if I was going to choose one of the Deadman beers, Deadman are at this stage pretty much where they need to think about exporting soon. This is probably a good choice of beer to export to
yes, yeah.
the Nordic countries.
Japan,
Europe.
South as well.
Oh yeah. No, this is one that would travel well, and it's, for what it is, it's got a hell of a lot of flavour.
Yes.
If you consider it just as 5.2% stout, it packs a punch. So yeah, backbone of the beer, roasty, toasty, well-fired bread crust, rye bread is in there, a bit of woodiness, little bit of nuttiness, wholemeal brown bread as well. The coffee feels as if it's kind of infused into the bready notes.
Yes.
The coffee's a bit more earthy, I think, in the flavour than you get from the aroma.
And it's a good breakfast beer.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could put breakfast out on this, and nobody would really bat an eyelid with that. Yeah. But I think there is a bit of chocolate to this one, like at the back of the
At
palate.
the back of the palate, yes.
At the back of the palate, it's got a little bit of this like charred
Dark
cocoa
chocolate,
nib,
yeah.
80-90% cocoa chocolate. But as you move further forward, maybe it gives you like a 60-70% cocoa chocolate with the
Right,
sweeter notes.
yeah.
There is a wee touch of brown sugar there, like a dry toasty caramel. But it's mostly like a rye bread, roasty, cocoa nibby type stout, this one, and then you got the coffee bean in the back of those too. Yeah. That's a really good, as I say, for me, finding a low ABV stout is a bit unique, and I think this pulls it off really well. It makes me miss the style a little bit, to be honest with you. hoppy side of things is pretty standard, bit earthy, bit herbal. Wee touch floral as you reach the front corners of the palate, little bit grassy around the front curve of the tongue. Yeah. Anything else you would add about the yeasty, malty side of it?
I can't remember off the top of my head what yeast we used. Just can't remember.
Yeah. That's all good. The main thing's about enjoying the beer, and this is lovely. That's the thing. Fruity wise, I wouldn't. It's a bit sharper. It gives you the impression the aroma is going to be a bit sharper than it is. Like you would expect quite a bit of raisin, a bit of plum in the attack, but really, when it mellows down to it, black currant, I think.
Yes. And you wouldn't feel, again, after a couple of sips, your just palate just gets used to the flavor, and it's not bitter anymore.
Oh yeah.
The first taste is normally bitter,
Yeah.
when you're tasting the espresso.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this beer, maybe a little bit in the future, play with nitro conditioning with this. It could be really interesting, but.
I'm going to tell you about it later.
Ah, okay. But yeah, the fruity side for me is blackcurrant, little touch of fig, yeah, things like that. This beer, it really wouldn't look out of place if you put this on cask or you nitroed it or something like that. I think it's a really damn solid low ABV stout, and for me, at least from the European point of view, that's quite a difficult thing to come across, to be honest with you. Seems to be more common in Asia though to have low ABV stouts, like Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, stuff like that. You don't find it too much in America, Europe, or even Australia and New Zealand. I think.
America not much. I think New Zealand has started doing a bit of stouts, but again, some of them are like garage projects.
Ah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, I've seen the garage, but 8-wired as well. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, all in all, really interesting beer. This one, packed full of flavour, and the level of flavour you get is good for such a low ABV stout. Mouthfeel wise, mid-bodied, smooth carbonation. It feels quite clean. I think all of the Deadman beers have a little bit of this cleanliness to them, and when you think about the temperature you have here, you need that to drink them. So it makes sense. IBU wise, you've got a bit of bitterness from the coffeeness, a bit of dryness in the beer. Maybe this is 30 or 40 IBUs, something like that.
Probably between that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Malty base is a bit dry underneath, smooth in the middle, like a dry sweetness on top. Lovely little bit of fruitiness out of it, but all in all, a really nice beer, this one. I think this is a really nice way to round off, actually. So we started with Ash doing the Pilsner, we finished with Ash doing the stout. So yeah, Ash, thank you for being in the video, and
thanks for coming. Actually, it was a pleasure to have you.
Oh, it's been good. It's been good. If you find yourself in Hong Kong and Deadman have an event, come along. You need to get used to that in Hong Kong, finding your way up in these industrial buildings. That's a bit of a mindfuck, to be honest with you, but it is worth it.
But you'll get there.
Oh,
Google
yeah.
Maps work here.
It does. So you've got Heroes, you've got Moon's Inn, you've got Deadman, Yardley's. Go and visit these guys. I think this is the point to sign off because I took in Samir the wrong way. But yeah, this was the Crazy Rabbits 5.2% espresso stout, our last beer here at Deadman for the evening, and I'll catch you guys in just a second with my final thoughts here. Cheers. Big thank you to Ash, and we'll catch you guys again soon.
Thanks, James.
Cheers. Alright guys, well that is our time over then here at Deadman Brewery in Diamond Hill in Hong Kong. So I had a really nice evening. This taco and beer night cost me 450 Hong Kong dollars, which is about £45 sterling, maybe €50, $55 American. So definitely worth the value. You had free flow beer, pretty much as many tacos as you could eat after 8 o'clock. So yeah, definitely worth it. Ash made it a really, really nice evening. We got to try 4 different beers from Deadman, and we will be featuring these guys again on the channel at some point soon. But yeah, all in all, really interesting evening here, and yeah, it's definitely worth coming to one of these Deadman Brewery events if you get the chance. So you'll see some sit-down reviews of the Deadman beers going forward on the channel if you haven't already, but I'll catch you guys in another video very soon with more Deadman Brewery beer reviews. So until the next time, Slange out Skull, cheers, check out my social media, check out Deadman Brewery's social media, and I'll catch you guys in another out and about video very shortly. But this was the taco night at Deadman Brewery in Diamond Hill, Kowloon, Hong Kong on the 17th of May 2024. Slange out Skull, and cheers.